Me quitting my job ending up costing my old boss hundreds of thousands of dollars. I quit my old job 2 weeks ago for a better work environment, better commute, and better pay without notice because they have fired several people a week into their 2-week notice. I thought nothing of it and assumed they could just have someone else fill in for my role. I ran into a former coworker and apparently me quitting hurt them bad enough that other people have heard of the financial loss they incurred. They had me booked several months out for projects that they believed I would be doing, and the fact that they have problems hiring people in my position because they refuse to hire people at a higher rate than their competitors, they indeed might be fucked. From forcing me to take a 40 pay cut because they replaced my whole department with contractors, to dangling a certification for 6 months with BS training in front of me, I'm glad they are taking a hit. Update: so it seems that their loss, I was told, is actually a lowball estimate because me quitting on that day caused them to cancel a city contract job that they have now lost their contracts with said city because they overcharge and have repeatedly provided poor service, not because of me. Them rescheduling was the last straw. So much for that 20 annual growth they accomplished last year on the backs of giving nobody raises. Edit: I never actually intended for any of that to happen. I didn't even look at the upcoming schedule since I knew I wasn't going to be there anyways. Happy coincidence anyways. It boggles my mind how companies seem to be allergic to retention. Good. It shows how underpaid you were. Hope your new job is better. The golden rule, baby. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you're not going to respect an employee's 2-week notice, don't expect people to give it to you. I left a job because I thought the location was circling the drain and they closed down 6 months later because incoming revenue dropped by 2/3 when I left. I'm curious to see if this happens at my last job. I was graciously reducing my hours 1,099 worker. The owner finally asked if I was working elsewhere, to which I said yes, myself, but I kept it separate. She informed me she has a policy on not having her workers work elsewhere. News to me after more than 2 years. I had to get my stuff and go right then. She's going to steadily lose clients who would only work with me, and I had recently heard the business was broke. A girl can dream. Clients are already figuring out how to find me at my own business. Companies that can't handle paying employees a fair wage should fail, and we shouldn't feel bad about it. Uck, the whole department of contractors bit. I felt that, lol. Good luck in your new job. Yup, when a company fires someone or cuts their 2-week notice short, they just tell every other employee to just leave the moment you have something better. I'm proud of you. People quitting always costs companies money. They pay us so little they take that loss into consideration, sometimes not to the extent. Like when big companies intentionally do illegal shit, people they will get slapped with a $1 million fine, but profit $1 billion from the shortcuts. Evil. The 40 pay cut was constructive dismissal. You could have walked and took unemployment comp and got it. Just an FYI, or anyone else reading this. Significant pay decreases or hours decreases is constructive dismissal, and you can apply for unemployment and walk. I gave 2 weeks notice because the company didn't really fire people immediately. A lot of people left that year, and I never saw it happen. I also wanted to see the aftermath. It took a number of months and they were unable to replace my skill set. The listing had 14 bullet points that were each a job by itself. Instead, they hired someone internally and paid them even less. Almost 2 years out now and I'm making a lot more in my new job, commute is short and people don't get randomly abused. Nobody wants to work for low pay anymore. I'm going to put that on a bumper sticker. Love to hear it. Good. Bad companies must die off. Otherwise workers and economy gets fucked. Yep, their problem. I was the only salesman in the end company. I was abused, so I left. Yes, they went out of business a year later. You mean them underpaying you and being shit employers cost them hundreds of thousands? If you had died in a car crash instead of quitting, Would they have blamed you for that too? This company deserves their failures. If any business that big hinges on one person, they better be making you a millionaire. Love it. Years ago, I had a boss fire me for not being happy. I wasn't happy in part because he was using meetings as personal therapy sessions to talk about how he'd knocked up his ex-girlfriend when they drunkenly hooked up. Well, he never really understood everything I was doing for him and the team. After they fired me, they wound up with a bill from a vendor for over $100,000 for the month because no one was paying attention. And because of how the place worked, it was another $150,000 before they could get a fix in place. Good. I love reading stories like this. Fuck 'em. Offer to do part-time contracting at about 10x your previous hourly rate. Good on you. I'm currently finding other work because the company I work for is losing employees and contracts for one reason or 5 others. I got a job offer for one place MF starting on Wednesday this week at higher pay. 45-minute drive to work every day, but it's assured hours. Underpaying you while overcharging the city. They got greedy and it came back to hurt them. Egos and greed ruin so many businesses. Ha ha. Bad management caused their loss, not you. But painting you as the evil culprit is much easier than actually finding a solution. I hope this happens to more companies that deserve it. You could offer your services to them as a contractor at $150 an hour. They'd be idiots to say no. I've known a lot of people who left their employer, then went 1,099 to sell back their services doing the exact same thing. You've got institutional and job knowledge they can't easily replace, if at all. Good riddance to those fools. I always say ciao jefe bye boss. A former co-worker had the saying, what kind of gum? Fuck 'em. I too walked on my job 2 weeks back with no regrets. It's cost them in that they had to pull other employees that they can't afford to pull to do my job. Fuck 'em. Good, I hope they're crying. If that much pain was caused by you leaving, then you were definitely being underpaid. And you leaving without notice, I always say that a company will never give you 2 weeks notice, so why do you owe them that? Good job. I'd rather take a 2-week vacation between jobs than give 2 weeks notice. They had their chance to retain. Everyone dreams of their old job capitulating like this after they leave, living the dream. Solid. This is the cost of profit before people. Or, gee, what an awful shame that is. Will no one think of the poor owner class? Wow, they forced you to take a 40 pay cut? I wouldn't give them notice either. I love seeing people quit and leave a dumpster fire behind them. It's like watching an action movie where the hero isn't fazed by the explosion of the enemy base. Underpay and gaslight skeleton crew workforce, overcharge municipalities cause its taxpayer money, earn huge profits. I don't understand how people this corrupt stupid run companies. Most companies do a poor job measuring opportunity cost. Employee turnover is like having a piece of equipment break down for 2 to 4 weeks. And it's like having that equipment work only at 60 efficiency for roughly another 4 to 8 weeks after it starts working again. Training. Human capital is just as important as machine capital. Wow, sounds like a dream to people who are treated badly at the work. Most of the time when people quit their work due to such cases, they are either immediately replaced or given a hard time. But for you, it was gold. Fuck them. The more we do this as a society, the better. I stopped giving 2 weeks notice after I found out it's not a law and they don't give you a 2 weeks notice before they fire you, and you have to now work for an entire month before you get your first paycheck. Not the asshole. If you were that important, they should have paid you better. Love a happy ending. Good. Thank you. I love success stories like this. Stories like these warm my heart. Maybe they'll learn to treat good employees better. Good for you for getting out of there and into a better place.